Welcome back to another Footy Sage video. And today we're going to be talking about some very interesting, you know, sorts of things that I've been noticing with footballers and um, women. These footballers have a tendency to attract certain types of people, and it's obvious why. They have a good amount of money uh, in terms of notoriety. They're known. Um, they're popular, they are young, right? There are many things that would be elusive, attractive to certain types of people. Now, when you are an athlete at a certain point in your life, you have to understand that who you allow into your life is very important. Uh, you know, I really do love Mike Tyson as an athlete, as a person who has grown up in this industry of boxing, entertainment, and everything that comes along with it. But he's an example for many people in terms of who you allow into your life and how to make the right decisions. And everyone knows his life. For those that don't know, he was someone who had a very tough upbringing, went through a lot of hardships, and he met an individual named Customato. Customato was an amazing human being. Outside of being, uh, I think he was a guru. I think that he was someone that could, uh, you know, see the future in a weird sense. I don't know, but he he took Mike in and made him, um, you know, feel the love that he deserved to have as a young person. And Customato, being an older man, he took upon himself to shelter, clothe, feed, and take care of Mike. And he was basically his guardian, right? He did take guardianship over him, and he took care of him. And sadly, Customato passed away before Mike could actually end up winning the heavyweight championship in boxing. But he had said that I know you will win it, and I know you will win it. And he kept saying this to him, I know you're going to win it. He kept training him, telling him these things. He consistently kind of, guided him towards the right path. And once he had lost this integral person, he then made decisions like marrying, I think, a Miss America or a Miss Universe candidate or winner, having a manager who was probably the most scummiest manager in boxing. I don't know if that's defamation, but you can actually research this dude. But her name is Robin Givens, and I'm just reading a little bit about what actually happened afterwards. The case was very insane. It was an assault case. Very interesting to see what had actually transpired. For those that do know, you know what happened. He went to jail. I have to actually bleep up that word. So it was the Dash case. Think about it. You know what I'm trying to say. YouTube doesn't allow me to say it. But one thing that I have noticed, and his manager was Don King, very interesting human being, looked out for himself, made some very shady deals with himself in mind to take most of the money or a good portion of it. So look, I think that the allegations of abuse and erratic behavior was insane, right? Mike Tyson at that time, heavyweight champion of the world, one of the most, I mean, obviously frightening people when you look at them, but when you really get to know the person, you could clearly see that this is someone who was very deeply hurt. And at that time period, losing someone as integral as Customato was, I think that's when it kind of shifted his mind to think about, I have to take care of myself and I have to do what's best for me. And in that pursuit, he made some decisions that were not correct. I think you know putting your hands on a woman is not correct in any way, shape, or form. I don't condone abuse in any way, shape, or form. And I think this is not correct. You should not touch women. You should not abuse women. Don't do that stuff, man. Seriously, I really do mean this stuff. People do this stuff just for because they're in the position of power, right? And why I'm bringing up Mike is it doesn't matter what profession you are. If you are in this space of entertainment as an athlete, you are going to attract people who are they're looking out for their best interest. So when you do meet someone and you meet someone at the height of your life, you have to always think to yourself, well, what is this person really here for, right? Because strip away the wealth, strip away the notoriety, strip away all the kind of benefits that come with this lifestyle that you have now procured for yourself. Is this person really there for you as the individual, as the human being, right? Um, I think in most cases, let's just be very honest, most of these people get into these relationships without that in mind, thinking that I'm there for this person. No, it's because this person has this and they can give me this lifestyle, right? You have to understand that people are very conniving at certain levels of wealth because they do want to look out for themselves. And this Ashraf Hakimi case is exactly that. This young woman has accused him of dash, you know, and this has been a case that's been, kind of working for 2 years, and the allegations could get him in court if found guilty up to 15 years. A few people have come out in support of him. PSG has uh, seemed to be very, adamant of making sure that everything goes through the due process, everything goes through this legitimate, you know, kind of direction, and making sure that the case is being handled with the utmost care and respect, because this is a very delicate conversation and case to be had. Um, Look, I think that this is very insane. If he did do this stuff, come on. You shouldn't be doing this stuff, Ashraf. If he didn't do this stuff, again, this is another case of someone looking to make some money, and it's technically extortion, could be racketeering, could be many different things that could be the real use of having such a strong accusation, right? Many players have been accused of such things. Benjamin Mendy, I think Dimitri Payet, Heung-min Son at one point. There have been many athletes in our sport that have had these types of cases, and I think Cristiano Ronaldo had one from a long time ago. But I'm bringing these cases to make everyone understand that anyone can do this, right? Anyone can do these sorts of things. Whether or not it is true that any of these people did these things, I don't know, okay? This is the thing with the legal process, the justice process. Things can be settled outside of court. Does that mean that this person did it? Maybe. That's the whole point. No one will ever know. But them settling outside of court means that they would rather have this go away and pay you a sum of money to just keep quiet and stop bringing this up. That's the whole point. It's hush money. Hush money to tell you not to say the things that you were going to say, and it's going to lead to a whole legal process that may take years to actually find out what really truly happened. And even at that point, there might be not enough support for your side to be able to prove that this actually did occur. So these cases are very, very, very interesting. But as athletes, look, these guys, they know many of these women that they're hanging around with, meeting at clubs, meeting at events, meeting at what you have it. Yes, they're beautiful women, but they're also women that may be having not the best interest in mind. Some of the text messages were pretty insane, talking about, we're going to rob him, right? These are some very interesting things to be texting your friend as a way to relieve stress. That's basically the way that she said it was a joke to relieve stress. Talking about he's not giving the code, he's coming down. Look, they could have been trying to rob him, trying to come up. They said something along the lines of "we're from the streets." Yeah, like she said that we're chicks from the Kailer, sick. This is a French article, but I translated it. It's roughly to then say from the street. I don't know what that really means in this context. It could mean that they've lived a life of doing certain things that would kind of harden them to to uh, um, to the realities of the world, so nothing can shock them. When I hear the streets, obviously the connotation of being promiscuous. But then the other connotation, when someone describes being from the streets, they're meaning that, we have been, formed and molded by this rough environment, which are the streets. So look, this could be either one of those things, but for a situation like this is very insane. I don't think Ashraf should have. I don't even think he should have been speaking to this woman. Look, I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. Another case with Teo Hernandez. This woman accused him of, and yeah, now that woman, who was a Russian model, was actually handed a suspended jail sentence for making a false claim. Again, I'm not saying that this person in the Ashraf Hakimi case is making a false claim. All I am saying is that these things are real. You can definitely be assaulted and you can also make a false claim. Both of these happen in many different cases, okay? My whole point is the way that these athletes can avoid all of this stuff is stop messing with these women. Stop introducing yourselves to this trouble. Stop bringing these sorts of people into your life. Stop doing this altogether. You have far too much to lose as a human being and as a man. You have to understand that many people, and I mean, I'm being very honest right now, many people don't want your success. They want their success from your detriment. So you have to be very intelligent enough to understand and recognize these patterns. This is why I don't go out in terms of going to the club or going to a bar. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm a Muslim. I don't believe that those things are correct in any way, shape, or form. And I don't even think that's the way that you meet people. That's just my opinion. Obviously, there are outliers everywhere. Everyone can meet anyone at any point. But in my own point of view, I think if you want to at least reduce any sort of issues for yourself, and again, why don't you just meet someone at the library? You know what I'm saying? Maybe even at the gym. Something simple. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. But for me personally, if I was in Ashraf Hakim's position, I wouldn't have even spoken to this woman. I wouldn't have messaged her. I wouldn't have even indulged in these conversations. I know you guys heard a couple years back the 100 IQ kind of play that he had made, moving all his assets to his mother's name. And so once he actually was, the divorce was filed from his previous ex-wife. The findings were that he actually owned nothing, and that there would be no alimony, that there would be no sort of exchanging of funds. So she would get 50% of his for of his assets, right? That's an intelligent thing to do to avoid certain situations. But again, in those cases, you would just sign a prenuptial agreement. Now, is every person going to be accepting of this? Maybe, maybe not. Again, if you are in the position of having that much wealth, you must actually understand you must protect it. It is what it is. This world is a cold world. There's no point in trying to accuse someone. Well, I want you to do this because no. Listen, you know why I'm doing it. Let's not be stupid. Let's just sign the deal. That's it. I think, in my personal opinion, Ashraf might have done something. Look, he did accept that he was, kissing and doing all these things. Who knows? Something could have led to something, and then it just kind of, doesn't really work well for him in that position. I'll be honest with you guys. Um, yeah, but all in all, I think that athletes should just stop doing this stuff, but they won't. Um, the discipline that it takes for a human being to not actually indulge in these sorts of things is something that I can see is difficult. I understand, um, but that's the whole point. Um, it's not easy because you actually have to put a lot of effort to avoid doing these things that you know are not good for you, for your heart, for your soul, for your mind. I think that these people, right, these athletes, they have a certain level of fame and fortune, and they then think that they can procure any type of person, and it may never come to bite them in the butt. I'm going to be, again, very clear. No one should abuse anyone. You shouldn't ever lay your hand on another person. It will never end up being for your benefit. The best thing to do in any situation is, if you feel as if someone is a threat to your life, get out of that situation, call the police. do your best to at least, have the proof, have everything set, so when the case does get to court, you can be able to make sure that this person actually is found guilty. But for the people that want to just avoid all this altogether, stop talking to people that you know don't have the best interest in mind for you. Now, that part is more difficult. It takes discernment to question whether or not this person does have my best interest, whether they're just here for a good time. Let's see, right? It's up to you. It's your life. You do what you want with it. Um, but again, this is not going to be the last case we see. We will see many more come out in the next few years, in the next few decades. This is a thing that will never go away. Me making this video is just to say this is some stupid stuff, man. Stop doing these things. Stop getting in, tangles with these women, man. Just focus on your ball. That's it, man. You don't even have to really do that crazy stuff, man. Go and meet a good woman who ain't about this life, who ain't doing all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? If you really want a good woman, stop finding them off of whatever places you are, because obviously these are not good women, man. I'm being very honest when I say that. And again, to the to the people that will then think that I'm just here bashing women, no, there's also men who be doing some crazy stuff, man. I mean, really crazy stuff, man. I'm being very honest. Both sides of this spectrum can be wrong. All I'm saying is, stay smart, guys. Come on, we got to be better than this. I'm being very serious, man. But this was the Footy Sage signing out, man. Stay safe.